It is our final game for Bound for Bendigo, Melbourne Vixens versus the Giants netball. Thank you everyone for all joining us here today. We are at Bendigo's Red Energy Arena. On behalf of Netball Victoria and the Melbourne Vixens, we would like to acknowledge the Dja Dja Wurrung and Targa Wurrung peoples of the traditional owners of the lands on which we are today. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and future. We're in for a cracker game of netball here today. My name is Chelsea Ryan and with me I've got Georgia Radjic. Georgia, final game of the weekend. Who'd believe it? It came so quickly.
Yeah, and what a thrilling weekend of netball we've had. We've seen some really good results. We've seen some new combinations at play as well. So really in for a cracker. Of course, Vixens fans, they don't need reminding about the last time that these two sides faced each other. It was the semi-final where the Vixens won by a singular point. Whew. It was an insane game. So Giants most likely looking for a little bit of revenge, even though this is a pre-season game, but it's all still on the line here.
Absolutely, and it's been such a good weekend here in Bendigo, and it wouldn't be possible without the support of the Victorian Government, McCafe and the City of Greater Bendigo for having us here this weekend. It's been a packed out crowd here. Yesterday we had over 3,000 people, and looking around here in the stadium, I'd say we'd have about the same as well. It's a great vibe, lots of Melbourne Vixens fans, and there'll be lots of cheers into this game.
100%. So you can see the final warm-ups happening for the Vixens as well. Interesting choices of lineup today. Hoping to see some more training partners get some good game time. The Giants have a fair few training partners as well that we've seen take the court, so it will be a really, really good day to see some exciting netball. Of course, both these teams did lose yesterday, but so the Vixens were leading for most of the game against the Lightning, then ended up going down by 11, whereas the Giants just went down by a singular goal. It was a super shot in the final seconds of the game, and the Thunderbirds went out 1-goal winners. So really, lots of exciting things happening.
They'll be wanting a little bit of redemption. I am sure they'll be out for it. And so for our Vixens, our lineup in goal shooter, we have Rani Samuson, goal attack Kira Austin, wing attack Liz Watson, centre Hannah Mundy, wing defence Kate Maloney, goal defence Kate Eddy, goalkeeper Emily Maddox, and on the bench we have Mwai Kamwenda, Olivia Lewis, Ruby Barkmeyer, Gabby Coffey and Shani Lambden. And up for the Giants.
Yeah, so in goal shooter, Matisse Leatherbarrow. In goal attack, Sophie Dwyer. In wing attack, Maddie Hay. Centre, their captain, Jamie Lee Price. Wing defence, Gemma Donoghue. Goal defence, Matilda McDonald. Goalkeeper, Lauren Moore. And for the bench, they have Ange Feketic, Erin O'Brien, Charlie Fiddler and Amy Sliger. Charlie Fiddler, the only player not to take the court so far for the Giants. Hoping maybe we've got some time for her. She did star for New South Wales in the 19 under National Netball Champs last season, and she also played the Australian Netball Champs for the Capital Darters. So, you know, a really exciting up-and-coming defender. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, we've been loving that, you know, all of our developing players and training partners have been put on the court this weekend. It's really good to see there's been some fantastic pathways through all of our states that have been able to get our players to where they are now. And this is a really exciting high-performance environment to have this experience. Pre-season to the Suncorp Super Netball for 2023. Can't wait.
What is your pick for the matchup battle? For me, I think it's going to be Hannah Mundy versus Jamie Lee Price.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a sucker for a centre matchup. Can't wait to see the tussle. And then Kate Maloney and we've got Maddie Hay in wing attack as well. And so here we go. First centre pass, looking for an option, going behind the long bomb to Maddie Hay, grabbing that ball mid-air. And coming in, Matisse Leatherbarrow with the ball. Maddox jumps high, but it's nothing to distract her. Her first goal.
Yeah, really good play there by Sophie Dwyer. She just almost a look-away pass across to Matisse. Really strong player. Of course, no Joe Harton, Amy Parmentor, April Brandley today. So really good to see these players on the court, but also just love what Sophie Dwyer brings. Just quickly, the umpires for this game is Justin Barnes and Emma Burgess, and the reserve is Tim Marshall.
And the Vixens respond with a goal there on their centre. That was Kira Austin with an amazing drive into that circle, and it pays off.
I'm also really curious to see this battle between Emily Mannix and Matisse Leatherbarrow happening at this Giants shooting end. So Em Mannix loves a tall holding shooter, and that's, you know, what Matisse Leatherbarrow does provide. But she is a really good long-range shooter. So it will be really interesting to see how that all plays out. And Kira Austin, she just manages to split the circle so well, find space, and she makes it look easy.
She does. She's not there, then all of a sudden she's there. She's got speed, but she reads the game really well and picks her move. And we've got hands over the ball just here. Hannah Mundy switching over to Maddie Hay, and Leatherbarrow with the ball with a little pass from Dwyer. Gets the shot. Here we are. They have already started on a roll. Both teams.
Yeah, both teams really on song, scoring fast and quickly, accurate shooting. So a little bit of delay at the moment for the Vixens. They have moved a lot faster down the court than previous centre passes, but both players now score goals, and that was a really confident, strong shot from Rani Samuelson.
Absolutely. There was a few waivers yesterday, I would say. So it's fantastic that, start off well with a big, long shot, getting it in, start confident, start early. And so we're down the Giants' end just here. The movement in the ring. Dwyer moves out to the side. Oh, sorry, Dwyer's got the ball here. Bit of a bouncy one. Eddie looking for it.
Yeah, really good front positioning from Kate Eddy. She let Sophie Dwyer take the shot, but she boxed her out from any opportunity for the rebound, and just a miscommunication there from Mannix and Maloney, but it doesn't make a difference because Hannah Mundy, I really appreciate this mid-court lineup for the Vixens with Mundy in centre and Maloney in wing defence. I think it's a really well-oiled engine, but, if this is something we can expect from the Vixens this season, I'm very excited by it.
Absolutely. They've got a fantastic mid-court lineup. And, Liz Watson in wing attack as well. One of our best players for the Australian Diamonds too. Coming back from injury. Had a great year last year and is ready to get stuck in it for 2023. And so is Rani Samuelson. Second one on the board. Great goal.
And just like that, the Vixens are in front. So, they were able to mop up that rebound, work their way down the court, and they look far more clinical in attack than they did yesterday.
Oh, and a bit of a bounce at the back of Dwyer. But not a problem. It is in Leatherbarrow's hands. Mannix how to play, getting the instruction. And what a shot. Just with her hands. It did bounce and it did follow through and go in, but she has a bit of a bend in that elbow and a bit of a spring to go up and over. And just like any goaler, you work on that over time. What works for your body, your height. And then lots of practice. We spoke to Kira Austin yesterday at one of our clinics here for our Melbourne Vixens Roadshow, and she said for her and the goalers, it's a
massive cheer for Liz Watson for the intercept. So
that's right. Instead of, going back to the point, for Kira Austin, the practice is at least 1,000 goals a week.
1,000. That's a lot of goals.
It is a lot of goals. And Dwyer gets the ball, the long bomb into Leatherbarrow. Beautifully placed. And it didn't quite follow through there. Eddie with the rebound.
Great vision from Sophie Dwyer. She is so good at finding the space and doing those passes long and hard into the ring. So why not? Why not get the ball in with as few opportunities for defenders to deflect as possible?
And Lauren Moore, goalkeeper, blocking out. Kira gets around though. Austin with the goal. And they've broken the Giants with that one.
Yeah, and the Vixens now out to a 3-goal difference. So very strong start from them. I don't think we saw this yesterday, but the question now is, are they going to keep this up for the full 4-quarter performance? Because that final quarter of yesterday's game, they were leading for the majority of the game, and then it was 24-10 for the Lightning. Only 10 goals scored for the Vixens. So hopefully it's a full 4-quarter performance, and we see Kira Austin come through and get the deflection with gain.
And that was fantastic play by the Melbourne Vixens just there, where they had Maloney and Mundy working really hard on a small screen, and lots of talk up from Maloney on the court as well. The big long bomb over, and it's Hay that has it in her hands just there. Back to McDonald and Hay going in, and just Leatherbarrow was not in front just there for that ball. Causes the contact though, draws it out, and look at the setup. Dwyer all alone at the back. Eddie has been pushed to stick onto Leatherbarrow, goes for the shot, and it's in.
Again, this battle between Mannix and Leatherbarrow, will be keeping a close eye on it, and great work from Maloney not to go offside there, using the ball to stay onside. But I think we'll be really curious to see, how it builds up. And also, of course, we've got Andra Ketic on the bench, who is a great shooter, a very accurate shooter. We did see her come onto the court at goal shooter. We can also see her go into goal attack. So really interesting options for Julie Fitzgerald today.
And Hay came out seamlessly on that one. Got the speed. Used it. Is the option just hit? Oh, and straight to Leatherbarrow. Just did a bit of a dodge. 1-2 in the circle and pulled Eddie to the side, leaving it open for her for that strong pass. Austin working off the line, looking for the option into the pocket. Mundy had drawn more towards her, but she gets the deflection. That was a great read. She knew it was happening.
Yeah, that should have been I think it could have been a simpler feed for Mundy to Samuelson, but great work from Lauren Moore. And you can just see that, the way that she just structured her hands there as well to put the pressure on defence of the shot.
And Austin looked at the line, but she was still in court on that rebound. It's the Giants' turn to try and flip the switch on the game, but it isn't. It's Maloney that gets the intercept, and it is her ball here. She is raring to go.
Yeah, and that's what you want from Kate Maloney. She is a confidence player. She lifts the entire team with her as well. When she's on song, she brings the Vixens. There's so many times we've heard about what her speeches are like to these teams, but it's so important when she's on, she brings everyone up with her.
Oh, and Kira Austin with the short pass. Samuelson plugs the goal through the net. Watson to Austin into the pocket, bouncing off the shoe of McDonald.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate for McDonald there, but it is the rule. You cannot kick the ball. So, I love seeing what Tilly McDonald brings. She's such an energetic and enigmatic player. She really wears the emotions of the game on her face. She's very, very funny to watch. But she will put her body on the line, including her legs, to try and cause some disruptions. And
Dwyer coming out to the top of the circle, trying to hold out in front. But Mannix really sticking tight on Leatherbarrow just there. Dwyer with the shot. Produces the goods. Dwyer is just that cool, calm, collected player, isn't she? 100%. She, even that, the semi-final last year, she still went for that super shot. Didn't count because it was after the whistle. But, look at the Vixens, the way they're setting up an attack. We did not see this yesterday from them. They are opening space for each other. A lot of the time we saw Samuelson and Austin running into the same space and causing a lot of congestion in the ring. Today they seem to be working better, a more cohesive shooting circle. But yeah, Sophie Dwyer in that semi-final, she always is calm, cool and collected, especially for a player as young as she is. She stepped up into the league as a teenager, but, I don't think she's going to be losing her starting 7 spot anytime soon. We've got quite a lot of years to come from her, and especially international experience now that she's made her Diamonds debut. And a long, strong ball into the pocket for Watson. Finds Austin. And it'll be an offside. So going for the little pass, it wasn't an option. Samuelson was covered. Flips it around. Gets the goal, and it just looks a little bit more dramatic with that plait as well, with a little bit of the flick of the hair too.
I love it. So 14 to the Vixens, 8 to the Giants. We're just about to enter that super shot period. Giants clinical in the super shot period yesterday. They have the shooters to do it. We have Matisse Leatherbarrow, known for her accurate long-range shooting. Sophie Dwyer, of course. How many super shots did she score last year? And their Joe Harton also was the leading super shot scorer. So it is 100% part of this team ethos to go for those 2-goal shots. The Vixens, they have Samuelson on the court. She is known for them. But it'll be interesting to see. They have a stable lead, whether they're going to decide to go for those goals.
Absolutely, and just checking some of our replays up on the screen that you're seeing. Maddie Hay, the pass over the Leatherbarrow, saw that. That was great vision that she had straight inside the circle. But yeah, for me, even though we just saw that goal being missed there and then Kira Austin following that up, Samuelson has really stepped up today.
Yes, and Rani Samuelson, just one of my favourite players in the league. I've loved also what she did in the Victorian Netball League and the Australian Netball League before she had her opportunity to debut in the Suncorp Super Netball League. So it's great seeing her get this opportunity and play the game she is so known for. She's a really beautiful shooter to watch. Her shooting technique, the way she moves around the court, It's a delight to watch her play netball at her level.
And off the court, she's really such a lovely person and really gives her time to other people. But I remember just having a chat with her. I couldn't believe how fierce her attitude was towards how hard she works in preparation for getting on the court.
And she's being rewarded today with the starting position. So, of course, lots to come in the season and in the games ahead.
And so, yeah, it's a bit of a tussle coming out for the Giants just on that centre pass. Maddie Hay has been pushing through to get the pass, but it hasn't been made easy. They've got a few more. Oh, Mundy reading that play, almost getting the intercept. Yeah, Maddie Hay really needs to get out in front. The goal bouncing off the top. And it is now 5 minutes to go in our first quarter. The super shot has been activated and the Giants will be wanting to make the most of it. Mundy looking for an option back to Mannix.
Interesting to see the way that the Giants are setting up. They're coming off the body a bit. So they are still playing a little bit of a one-on-one, but they're just using it to clog up the space. Made it hard for the Vixens to do what I would describe as their more traditional, very fast passing movements down the ring. Tilly McDonald. Such great work from her. And an offside, unfortunately, not counting her intercept.
And big hands by McDonald just there as well. Wasn't enough distraction. Samuelson sinks that one. It is a super shot. Plug it in on the board. 16-8. It's the Vixens' way. It's their centre here now. Now Liz Watson passes it on to Austin. Back to the line. Eddie provides an offer. Big grab on was a little one. Perfectly timed with that drive from Austin, though.
Yeah, she really floats into space when she takes that leap and that drive. She's got speed, but she's just so composed on her landing, making sure her footwork's right, lining up directly in front of the post where she wants to be.
And yeah, Mundy is really causing trouble for Hay going out for that centre pass just there. She's covering her and pushing her really wide so that Price then has to look for other options. And into the circle now for the Giants. Super shot range. Leatherbarrow gets the goal. The climb begins from now.
It's also very interesting to note, of course, this is a Melbourne Vixens run tournament, but just the crowd reaction to when the super shot is scored for the Vixens compared to the Giants, where else in previous games when the Vixens aren't playing, people tend to be cheering on both teams. But, there is definitely a lot of one-eyed Vixens fans here today.
Yeah, got to get used to that. I mean, if we were in Sydney, the tables would definitely be turned. Austin with another just there, nods her head, getting the job done. Price again looking for the option. Hay comes in. Dwyer really being kept at bay by Eddie as well on that centre line.
Leatherbarrow working so hard to try and make sure that all the shots have been taken in the super shot zone. So Giants are moving the ball around a lot more. They're not looking to go to the post at all. They are down by now 6, but they're really trying to push it around so they can go for those super shots.
And doing a lot of work off the line there, Liz Watson. She's up against Gemma Donoghue from the Giants. Great to see her getting court time as well. Yeah, a young gun for the Giants. She did feature in their Australian Netball Championship side as well. So, no Amy Parmenter today. So a really great challenge for Gemma Donoghue, who's still quite young, to have the opportunity to play against arguably the best wing attack in the world. And yeah, I think that's what's most important about pre-season is getting this experience and practice in this high-performance environment, and just gets it done under pressure. Leatherbarrow, another super shot. 19-14 at the moment. Leatherbarrow looks more confident from range than she does close to the post. That is my controversial opinion on the matter. Yesterday there was quite a few missed shots under the post, but she just seems to be at home from distance, which is a terrifying concept, especially in a league that has a super shot. Looking for the option, Maloney goes back to Mundy, and Mundy is just super impressive with her athleticism. She re-offers and really knows how to utilise her body around the circle. Samuelson with the super shot, a big crowd cheer. She is pumped, she is confident. And I think this is what we're going to see play out a lot in this game. So we have the Giants and their ability to go for these super shots, but Samuelson does too. So we're going to have
quite the tussle in this final 5-minute period each quarter. Yesterday we saw the Giants go so strongly every super shot period, really come out, and Matisse Leatherbarrow, star.
Great range there and perfect time. 30 seconds left on the clock. Vixens are 5 out in front at the moment. Looking for another super shot, I am sure. And what a deflection, McDonald.
I wonder if that's part of your tickets when you get the courtside tickets. You might accidentally have a player come try and sit on your lap when they stream through.
That just goes, to show the trajectory of how much energy they put into it. There is no stopping them. And a big shoulder pass, and it just wasn't quite the selection that they wanted just there. Maloney reading that like a book.
Yeah, final couple of seconds, but no luck with the pass trying to go anywhere towards the goals. But really, really strong first quarter from the Melbourne Vixens. A really clinical display, but the Giants not to be discounted. We saw how much they came alive in that final 5-minute period. When you have a goal shooter like Matisse Leatherbarrow, when you have a goal attack like Sophie Dwyer, they're a really exciting team to watch.
Absolutely. I feel like they've just settled into their game just now. They've just taken a little bit longer to get themselves together, and they need to be thinking about their centre pass and who's coming out. Sophie Dwyer has been covered by Eddie, and Mundy is just tagging Maddie Hay on that line as well, putting a lot of pressure then for the defenders to come out and gain that ball. So they'll be looking to tweak that come the second quarter. And it is a break time. We will be back in a couple of minutes for our second quarter. Can't wait to see you back then. 1-2 in the circle and pulled.
Work from Lauren Moore, and you can just see that, the way that she just structured her hands there as well to put the pressure on defense of the shot.
And Austin looked as the Giants turn to try and flip the switch on the game, but it isn't. It's Maloney that gets the intercept, and it is her ball here.
Teams. But it's so important when she's on, she brings everyone up with her.
Oh, and Kira Austin with the short pass. Samuelson plugs the goal, but Mannix really sticking tight on Leatherbarrow just there. Dwyer with the shot. Produces the good. Easy. They've got a few more. Oh, Mundy reading that play, almost getting.
What I would describe as their more traditional, very fast passing movements down the ring. Tilly McDonald.
Are you ready for a career in sport? To make your mark on the industry? To study at the world's #1 school for sports science? Then what are you waiting for?
Meet Colin Jenkins, netball coach, orange cutter, artistic director, planner, chauffeur, Sherpa, and sideline hero.
Pass the ball.
As proud partners of Netball Australia, we want to thank Colin for going above and beyond each week to support the netball community. HCF and Netball Australia, united by uncommon care.
When you're in a I deserve a little treat kind of mood, you need iced coffee, and you need it deluxe. Hazelnut, vanilla, or caramel. Make your day a cream on top kind of day with the McCafe Deluxe Iced Coffee.
Sixth car and truck rental is ready. Ready to go above and beyond. We call it Above and Beyonding. Means goodbye to the rocky roads of rentals, hello to an incredible fleet with incredible service. We rent small cars, big cars, electric cars, and cars as big as trucks. Because they are trucks. It's time to mispronounce our name and get out on the open road in style, in six.
Not too far from where you are, Victoria's wide open spaces are calling. You'll hear the call on forest trails and in sea breezes, at farm gates and in cellar doors, inviting you to hike that peak and chase that view, to drink from the maker and dine at the source. Victoria awaits. Are you ready? Stay close, go further.
Unfortunately, not counting her intercept.
And big hands by McDonald just there as well. Wasn't enough distraction. Samuelson sinks that one. So that Price then has to look for other options. And into the circle now for the Giants. Super shot range. Leatherbarrow gets the goal. The climb begins.
Leatherbarrow working so hard to try and make sure that all the shots have been taken in the super shot zone. So Giants are moving the ball around a lot more. They're not a young gun for the Giants. She did feature in their Australian Netball Championship side as well. So, no Amy Parmenter today.
I think that's what's most important about pre-season is getting this experience and practice in this.
Hello and welcome back to the second quarter between the Vixens and the Giants. The Vixens are currently out to a 5-goal lead, 21-16. As we look at some highlights from that first quarter, Rani Samuelson, hasn't she been on fire today, sinking those super shots, but not to be outdone, so have the Giants. They have been very impressive. That woman in particular, Matisse Leatherbarrow, she can shoot from anywhere.
Absolutely. She is one consistent player for the Giants, her and Dwyer. Working magic in that circle, but they're just going to want to lift here. We're into our second quarter. Jamie Lee Price with the ball in the centre. A lot of pre-work off the line, and it's Hay that gets that. Back to Price, Dwyer looking back, the big reach over, and it is Mannix that gets the intercept. 2 hands on that, pulls it in.
And very exciting, a change on the court. Gabby Coffey is in goal defence for the Vixens, so it'll be really good to see what she's able to bring. And Mannix, again, immense. And a couple of changes. You can see that also in centre is Liz Watson. Maloney stays in wing defence, but in wing attack we have Hannah Mundy. So beautiful floating ball, floating drive there from Kira Austin. So Vixens get the break very early at the start of this second quarter.
Samuelson with the ball, looking for an option. She does a little bit of a bounce to Mundy, calling it long as Kira, but being covered by Moore. Moore is energetic and up on her feet as a defender.
She definitely is known for her movement. She does play that goal defence role really well as well, but really interesting to see that McDonald's playing goal defence. Have seen a fair bit of her in goalkeeper in the past couple of years. So, Julie Fitzgerald really going for movement in her defensive circle.
And Loz, fun fact for Lauren Moore, her spirit animal is a golden retriever.
That seems very accurate. And Gabby Coffey, she's played for the Melbourne University Lightning. She played for that Vic Fury team that got the silver medal at the Australian Netball Championship. She's been involved as a training partner with the Vixens for a couple of years now, so it's good to see her get on court and hopefully get some court time for the Vixens this season. She, of course, made her debut in the Suncorp Super Netball as Emily Mannix does the old hug the pole trick. Gabby Coffey made her Suncorp Super Netball debut for the Collingwood Magpies due to the COVID rules last year.
I know it's been an interesting few years with COVID, but also good that things have been tweaked up and there's policies in place that allow players to play and continue. And you know what? I'm sure it was a fantastic experience for her and what development she would have got out of it. Also, maybe all the inside tips and tricks from the Pies.
Exactly, sharing some secrets. Again, the Vixens just look a little bit more clinical in the start of this quarter. We saw them go, Liz Watson just tripping over her feet. The entire stadium let out a breath. We know what a Vixen side without Liz Watson looks like, and I don't think anyone wants to see that again after 2021.
And that was Moore going up against Samuelson for that ball. Just didn't have her hands quite in front. McDonald really taking that space under the post, but it didn't matter. Samuelson, another goal.
Yeah, Samuelson, beautiful shot at goal, beautiful technique she has. I love the way she plays. It's just a poetic goal shooter. And look at Hannah Mundy just running her way down the court. This dynamic agility that we're seeing from the entire front line of the Vixens is really something nice to watch. So hopefully a couple of goals now. They're just increasing their lead. Giants, have quite a bit of youth playing today, but will be good to see if they can just steady the ship a little bit. You can see the really strong hands over defense from Maloney, led to the intercept by Kira Austin.
I think I was just cringing at that one there. It just happened in slow motion, and it's just not what they want. They've just been a bit clogged up, and the Vixens have been playing one-on-one defense in that space, closing down the Giants, and it's now down their end. A great deflection over by Price. That was a big sweeping arm. And Price played a fantastic game yesterday as well against the Thunderbirds.
She really did. Tilly McDonald was reading that so well. But I think also in this particular lineup we are seeing from the Giants, and Liz Watson unfortunately offside, I think some of the players thought that it was a contact, and I think she thought she might have been called for contact too, given she stood out of play. But I think in this particular lineup for the Giants, she is their captain. She has been stepping up quite heavily to kind of help direct play. But, you know, she's a player with Diamond's experience. She's a player with a lot of experience in this Giant side. She is one of the first players signed for the franchise when it created its start of the Super Netball season. So, looks to be a timeout being called for the Giants, which makes sense. The Vixens have started that quarter very strongly. It was 21-16 at the quarter time break, so they've outscored them 3-2, but they just look the little bit sharper of the two sides.
They do. The scoreboard only says that they've only just crept up by 1 since the break, but it is the Vixens that have got a little bit more momentum here. It's the Giants that are doing more hard yards to get it down into their circle, and we've seen a couple more rebounds being caught by the Vixens from them instead. And, there's the dive there from Liz Watson, and she took another dive in the circle, the Giants end of it, so hopefully she's doing all right, scuffing the knees. The mop didn't come out, actually, did it?
Well, the mop came out just before when we just went to the replays. Wasn't shown on your screen, but, you know, the umpire did request that we do go to the mop. So Justin Barnes asked one of our ball and mop squad to help out. But, yeah, I can see just the early highlights in this second quarter. Vixen's just looking the part.
And there was that intercept by Austin just there. That was Hay trying to go back, and that's just showing how much pressure they're putting on them. And straight in. And there was a goal there by Leatherbarrow just under the post there. She is one classy goaler for them. And we've got Jo Weston with the T-shirt that says staff on the back of her, just behind her. Still contributing to the team, and she was really up and about with the defenders yesterday.
Yes, she was at the defence end for giving some instructions, and of course any other umpire at home knows that technically coaching isn't allowed from that area, but you know, it is pre-season and it is also Jo West, and I'm pretty sure she can just do whatever she wants.
Maloney with the ball. Mundy having a bit of a tussle with Price, getting out in front though, and they're sending it back. Now Maloney taking a little bit of leadership in communication, pointing around, dictating what play she wants here. Watson out in front.
A lot of early whistle here to try and stamp out, I think, anything that might result in a tussle, which I think is important for the game management perspective. Just seeing the way that the Giants are setting up there, lots of arms across obstructions, and kind of just trying to make sure that that behaviour is stamped out early.
And so Coffey coming up against Dwyer, putting a lot of energy in it, is the front defender at the moment. Really wants to hold Matisse there, but it's Dwyer with that penalty. Big stretch. Sinks the goal. Just under 10 minutes to go in our second quarter.
I think, again, the entire stadium let out a collective ooh at that. So just look like something a little bit slippery there. So Hannah Mundy's up and moving. So hopefully she looks like she's all fine. But yeah, what I was going to say before that happened was Vixen's really loving a little bit of a bounce pass, especially in that goal third outside the ring, which has been a very good way to kind of cut through some players.
And the hands were over, but it was the short pass to Dwyer, and in the goal goes. Lauren Moore is dancing around where Hannah Mundy went down. The mop is there, it's attended to. It is a Giants ball. We're just waiting for that mop to happen, which is just off the screen on the right side.
I love Lauren Moore, she's so funny.
Lauren Moore just assisting with the mop there, dancing and helping put a bit of pressure on it. And a bit of a chest-to-chest clash there between Hay. Might be a little bit winded from Mundy. She's okay, she gets up.
Yeah, only eyes for the ball there from both players, just missed the other opposing wing attackers. They're trying to move through the court.
And where body is on body, it is right there, Mannix and Leatherbarrow. The little one under the post. All counts to the same scores at the moment. 8.5 minutes to go. Just 4 behind now.
Yeah, Giants seemed very much more settled than after that timeout, so seemed to work really well for them. And as we see, even more players really trying to take, as Liz Watson hits the floor again, she's going to be the Maddie Proud of today's game, considering how many times she's hit the deck. Like in this quarter alone, it's a fair few times.
And a lot of pre-work off the line there. They've really boxed out Hay on the line, bringing the centre back. That's Watson. Looking backwards, Donahue got the ball, resetting just here. Price going into the pocket to Hay. Over the top. We're not in super shot time yet. Maloney giving it all she's got. That was never going to be let just be Hay. O'Dwyer with the stepping call there. Maloney on the move straight away down that top channel of the court. Mundy not pleased with their options, selecting to go back. Resetting, going again. Samuelson doing twists in the circle, more sticking to her like glue.
But you can see the way the Vixens also set up moving down the court. Someone gets the ball, then there's 2 drives happening. It's the Victorian philosophy of multiple drives to every ball, hands over defensive pressure, and it's very evident in the way they're playing today.
And a beautiful goal by Samuelson, gets the little pass into the ring, turns around, has all the space out in front of her.
It'll be really interesting to see when Simone McInnes goes to her bench. It's great to see Gabby Coffey, and she didn't get a run yesterday. But of course, they have, hometown Bendigo's own Ruby Barkmeyer is also on the bench. She had a very important cameo last year against the Giants in that semi-final. I'd really argue that her appearance is what got Vixens over the line in that goal attack role. So it'll be great to see if she makes the court, as well as Shani Lambden also on the bench. Liv Lewis we saw get some game time yesterday, and of course Mike Mwenda. I don't think I need to introduce her if you're watching on this stream, what a fantastic player she is. But really interesting to see how and when McInnes chooses to go to the bench for this team.
Yeah, and we did have people from Malawi on our live stream yesterday. I'm sure there are people watching in today from all over the world as well. So a big hello to every one of you. If you comment on Facebook Live, we'll give you a bit of a shout out. But this is an exciting game we have underway, and plenty of training partners from the Giants as well.
Yeah, I personally am a very big fan of Ange Vuketic, so hopefully we'll see her come on as well. She offers something a bit different to what Leatherbarrow, and I'd say she does play almost a more similar style to Dwyer. She does play that more of that goal attack moving circle, but it'll be interesting to see if Julie Fitzgerald goes to the bench as well for her players. The only player that didn't make the court that she brought along for this weekend is Charlie Fiddler, who I mentioned a bit earlier. So she was very keen to go through some changes, test out some combinations. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens.
Absolutely, and just before, they've just all sat down now, but all of the players that are on the bench for the Giants were up and jumping, keeping nice and warm. So just over 5 minutes to go, 29-22, trailing by 7, the Giants. Sophie Dwyer out of the circle now, top of the circle, a bit of a bump. Liz Watson, hands up in the air. It wasn't me. Or full admission of guilt.
Both.
See what the umpire says.
And perfect timing there from Dwyer, and she gets the super shot as well. So just like that, the deficit has been reduced to just 5 for the Giants. But, we did see super shots from both teams. Kira Austin, very much capable of them as well, but really letting Rani Samuelson do the work there. Just a mistimed pass there, a little bit too far to the side. So Giants really could come back in this 5-minute period.
And Gemma Donahue driving through the court just there, takes the ball in. The second offer. Bit of a tap there by Samuelson. Recalling that ball here. And look at the setup. They're in the middle of the court just here. They're going to offer the split. And Gemma Donahue comes through. Beautiful leap through the air there by Price. Into the pocket. It was a big one. Maddie Hay just a little bit too late on that lead. Leatherbarrow to release that ball. Super shot range. Still in range. Dwyer with the goods.
She really went for the full 3 fakes before she shot, but a really smart play by Dwyer. She can sink those every single day of the week. And yeah, Maddie Hay definitely saying there was a contact there, and Maloney out of play. So just like that, the deficit has been reduced to 3 for the Giants.
And they just don't want to get too excited just now and get a little bit, antsy and throw it all away just yet.
But that's the benefit of having your Sophie Dwyer on your team. She's so calm and collected in everything that she does. She looks like a player with such poise on court. And, that's who you want to be the player to be taking those super shots for you. And that's why she's got the ball in hand right now.
And that is a third super shot up on the board. Brings it to just trailing by 1. Vixens are going to have to answer to this.
Yeah, and the Vixens calling a timeout there. Very smart from them. They looked very much in control for the duration of the normal play in this quarter, but the Giants have switched it on. And I think after that timeout they had early in the second quarter, they've built in this game really well.
And yeah, it's the time for this timeout. They want to stop that momentum and keep the ball out of Sophie Dwyer's hands. And just a couple of replays up on your screen just now. And Matisse Leatherbarrow earlier in our quarter.
And just that backwards drive that Rani Samuelson does so well. She comes off the body, she sets up well, and she just drives backwards into space.
We've got a couple of comments on our live stream on Facebook. We've got someone from Los Angeles.
Wow.
The Waves Netball Club. A big hello to you. And Malawi, you might be the same viewer from yesterday, so welcome back. It's great to have you all watching our live stream, Bound for Bendigo. Our final game here, super exciting. There is only one in it. And this is the replays towards the end of our second quarter just here. We're in a timeout. And Sophie Dwyer makes it look easy. And exactly that word, Georgia, poised. She is such a calm, collected shooter. And really just putting that upon everyone else to slow it down, take their time, smart play.
And Liz Watson to take the first centre pass after that timeout.
Samuelson looking for an option. Goes to Watson, and that was a hard grab by Mundy. Moving her body around the circle. And the goalers are going to have to do a little bit more movement than that. Samuelson chases that up, pulls out in front, and just out of super shot range at the moment. Offers. Big split by Austin.
Yeah, this movement in the circle today with Kira Austin and Rani Samuelson is so different from what we saw yesterday. It just wasn't working. Today, it's fluid, it's dynamic, and they seem to be able to work in cohesion with each other.
And a little pass back to Hay there. Oh, and the tip from Mannix. She was ready for that. Dwyer throwing it in. The big bounce past Maddie Hay. Lots of pressure put on by Watson. Leatherbarrow. A little bit of a rebound bouncing out.
Uncharacteristic miss from Leatherbarrow, you would almost argue. She's really been on fire with those shots, and to the point the fact that she missed, and everyone's like, what do you mean she missed? Because really, seeing someone that accurate from that range, we don't get to see that every day.
Yeah, she is quite a beautiful shooter to watch. Watson with the ball into the circle. Austin drives away from McDonald. Makes no mistake with that one under the post. It is a Vixen centre. Donahue and Price putting pressure on Mundy. Presses back. Maloney with the ball, driving straight and forward. The bounce pass. She's in. Super shot range. Austin going for it.
And that is a big cheer from the crowd here in Bendigo. And just like that, the buffer has been restored for 5 goals for the Vixens.
And that's just how quick it can flip. If Leatherbarrow had have got that goal in, that's a 2-point climb, that chase closer to being out in front. Watson with the ball here now. That was a 1-point gain by the Giants just then. Let's see how the Vixens respond.
Kira Austin doing really well to get it. I think that ball was not at all where she expected to be, but Rani Samuelson again.
Super impressed, and the crowd is pumped by her performance today. Oh, big shot over, and it was a guess.
Yeah, final 30 seconds in this quarter. I think Maddie Hay was almost expecting Jamie Lee Price to be able to drive backwards into the circle with that.
Look, I think Hay is doing well considering that Maloney is putting it on her, and then, Liz Watson, also centre, is pushing back at every centre pass and really boxing her out. So she's going to have to try and find some options. And who found an option? Austin driving under the goalpost in that circle. And the crowd going wild.
Mundy, what a beautiful pass that was. The umpire just holding time for the solitary second. and it will be a Vixen centre pass afterwards. So it is the Melbourne Vixens 36, the Giants 29.
So that's a 7-point buffer the Vixens have now at half-time. What do you think Simone McInnes will be saying to them?
I think she'll be really impressed with what's happening in the attack line. I think a little bit more closer attention can be paid in that defence. I think they're really doing well in clogging up the space before the feed in the attacking third for the Giants. But I think it's time now to start seeing some more intercepts and deflections coming through. But I would say would be very impressed with the attacking line. Giants, they're doing really well defensively. I think they're reading the play well. And through that middle of the court, we can see the Vixens bringing the ball down. They are doing so many dodges and so much work to try and cut off any leads. So it will be very interesting to see what happens and if we see any changes in the third quarter.
Absolutely. Now we've got some halftime fun to happen just here. We're going to take a break, but don't go anywhere. An exciting second half of our Vixens versus Giants game coming up next.
Are you ready for a career in sport? To make your mark on the industry? To study at the world's #1 school for sports science? Then what are you waiting for?
Meet Colin Jenkins, netball coach, orange cutter, artistic director, planner, chauffeur, Sherpa, and sideline hero.
Pass the ball.
As proud partners of Netball Australia, we want to thank Colin for going above and beyond each week to support the netball community. HCF and Netball Australia, united by uncommon care.
When you're in a I deserve a little treat kind of mood, you need iced coffee and you need it deluxe. Hazelnut, vanilla or caramel. Make your day a cream on top kind of day with a McCafe Deluxe Iced Coffee.
Sixth car and truck rental is ready. Ready to go above and beyond. We call it Above and Beyonding. Means goodbye to the rocky roads of rentals, hello to an incredible fleet with incredible service. We rent small cars, big cars, electric cars, and cars as big as trucks. Because they are trucks. It's time to mispronounce our name and get out on the open road in style, in six.
Not too far from where you are, Victoria's wide open spaces are calling. You'll hear the call on forest trails and in sea breezes, at farm gates and in cellar doors, inviting you to hike that peak and chase that view, to drink from the maker and dine at the source. Victoria awaits. Are you ready? Stay close, go further.
Watson out in front.
A lot of early whistle here to try and stamp out, I think, anything that might result in a tussle, which I think is important for game management perspective.
Really wants to hold Matisse there, but it's Dwyer with that penalty. Big stretch. Just under 10 minutes to go in our second quarter.
To kind of cut through some players.
And the hands were over, but it was the short pass to Dwyer, and in the goal go. Yeah, dancing and helping put a bit of pressure on it. And a bit of a...
Just missed the other opposing wing attackers. They're trying to move through the court.
And where body is on body, it is right there. Mannix and Leatherbarrow. The little one.
After that timeout. So seemed to work really well for them. And as we see, even Maddie proud of today's game, considering how many times she's hit the deck, like in this quarter alone. It's a Victorian philosophy of multiple drives to every ball, hands over defensive pressure. And it's very evident in the way they're playing today. Bench. She had a very important cameo last year against the Giants in that semi-final. I'd really also on the bench. Liv Lewis, we saw get some game time yesterday, and of course Mike Mwenda. I don't think I need to introduce her if you're watching on this stream. What a fantastic player she is, but really interesting
Giants as well.
Yeah, I personally very big fan of Ange Viketic, so hopefully we'll see her come on as well. She offers something a bit different to what her players. The only player that didn't make the court that she brought along for this weekend is Chardley Fiddler, who I mentioned a bit earlier. So she was very keen to go through some changes.
Of the circle now, top of the circle, a bit of a bump. It wasn't me. Or full admission of guilt.
Both.
See what the umpire says.
And perfect timing there from Dwyer
to release that ball. Super shot range. Still in range. Dwyer
on court, and you know that's who you want to be the player to be taking those super shots for you, and that's why she's got the ball in hand right now.
And that is a third super shot up on the board. Yeah, she is quite a beautiful shooter to watch. Watson with the ball into the circle. Austin drives away. Back. Maloney with the ball, driving straight and forward. The bounce pass. She's in super shot range. Austin going for it. Vixens respond.
Kira Austin doing really well to get it. I think that ball was not at all where she expected it to be, but Rani Summerson
at every centre pass and really boxing her out. So she's going to have to try and find some options. And who found an option? Austin driving under the goalpost in that. Welcome back to our Bound for Bendigo broadcast, where we've got the Melbourne Vixens taking on the Giants, and they're leading out in front by 7. It's 36-29, and what an exciting first half we've had, haven't we, Georgia?
Yeah, it's been a real thriller, and Vixens really looking clinical today. They seem to have found their connections a little bit easier than they have yesterday, but it does look like a range of changes is going to happen for both teams. Just having a quick look at, who's warming up, who's wearing what bib after the halftime break. I'm expecting both teams to make a couple of changes. Hannah Mundy doesn't seem to be wearing a bib at all, which means there'll definitely be a couple of mid-court changes for the Vixens. You can see for the Giants as well that Ange Viketic is wearing the goal shooter bib, and there's no bib on Matisse Leatherbarrow. So something just to note, but will be good to see some changes, some testing of combinations as we've been asking for all weekend. Chelsea, what have you made of the game so far?
Yeah, can't wait for them to take to court. Rani Samuelson has been a fantastic shooting highlight for the Melbourne Vixens. But really also on the other side, in the other goal circle, it's been Sophie Dwyer, who's just had that really calm presence that's really brought the team together, almost pushing them up to just within a couple of goals of the Vixens before they sort of stormed away in those final couple of minutes of our second quarter.
Yeah, and it's a great packed stadium here. Quite a few people probably gone off to get some hot chips in this halftime break, but over 3,000 people here today and over 3,000 people here yesterday as well. So, great to see netball out here in this beautiful, beautiful stadium at Red Energy Arena in Bendigo.
Absolutely, yeah. Yesterday morning we had the Melbourne Vixens Roadshow where we had clinics for the kids. That's happening again this Friday. We're going to Geelong, which is super exciting, getting around some of the regional parts of Victoria. But, anyone and everyone is here today. We know people that have come down and stayed the weekend in Bendigo and had a really good time. And also I've seen in the car park lots of cars from New South Wales too. They've made the trip down from the border just to be able to see these experienced netball players play. And it's just such a good vibe here.
Absolutely. And, you know, Pete Laser, our MC today, did ask the crowd how many Giants fans there are. And, you know, there was a pretty good shout, more than I expected. But it does seem like this crowd is very heavily biased towards the Vixens. You can tell, definitely, I hope it's coming across loud and clear on the broadcast, you know, how wonderfully packed the stadium is. And if you are online, make sure you are joining the conversation. The hashtag is Bound for Bendigo with the number 4, not the word 4. As the teams are making their way back out in court, can quickly run through some changes. Moai Kamwenda has joined the court and goal shooter. Kira Austin staying in goal attack. Liz Watson pushed back to wing attack. Kate Maloney gets a run in centre. Wing defence would be Kate Eddy. Liv Lewis in goal defence, which is an exciting change. And Em Mannix retains her Spartan goalkeeper. I'll just go through the lineup for the Giants after the first centre pass. See Kate Maloney throw the first ball to Liz Watson. So for the Giants, a couple of changes as well. Matisse Leatherbarrow on the bench, Ange Friketic in goal shooter, Sophie Dwyer in goal attack. Wing attack remains Maddie Hay, centre remains Jamie Lee Price. Amy Sliger played wing defence, started off the game yesterday there. She is on court now. Goal defence is Erin O'Brien and goalkeeper is Tilly McDonald. So a raft of changes for both teams. Will be interesting to see what happens here.
Yeah, and so for Friketic and O'Brien, it's the second time they've taken to the court. They had some time on yesterday.
And Friketic, 2 early misses. But she'll get another shot at the cherry, given that was an obstruction from Liv Lewis.
And pops it in. Back to a Vixen centre. That's a deflection by Amy Sliger. McDonald picking it up. Great teamwork just there. She's looking for an option. And O'Brien with a little bit of body contact there, still in possession of the ball. The pop over by Hay. Friketic brings out Mannix and runs back into the space.
Really interesting by Julie Fitzgerald. We've seen Amy Sliger in wing defence. We've seen Gemma McDonoghue. My apologies there, just made a mess of that. Apologies, Gemma. She's played goal defence, wing defence. That's what Gemma Donahue does. But Amy Sliger is a mid-court player. So really 2 different options in that wing defence position. And I guess that is one of the great benefits of wing defence. You can have a more defensive-minded wing defence and you have a more mid-court attacking-minded wing defence. So really 2 different options. And when you're playing against your Hannah Mundys and your Liz Watsons, as the Vixens have been putting in their wing attack position, I think it's important to change it up depending on how the game's going.
And a lot of pressure being put on the Vixens by the Giants' defence there. A little deflection from Amy Sliger as well. Big hands over. She's come out ready and raring to play. And Kamwenda with the goal. She is in on the Vixens by the little bit of a chat. A little deflection to Austin on the way out. Well. Big hands next time. She's come out ready and Friketic out in front. Passing it back to Price. Looking for a closer option, and it's the hands. Mannix disappointed. Shoulders down for a moment. Big smile on her face, though. She's quite a comedian, hey.
I've been loving the comedy we've seen from the goalkeepers in this game. Lauren Moore, before having a bit of a boogie, helping mop the court, and Mannix having a bit of a giggle about that as well. It's great to see the energy really high here, and smart play, smart pass from Kira Austin to Liz Watson.
And Watson moving around. Pushes out McDonald to give space for Kamwenda with the goal. She is in this game now. She wants to keep bringing that heat. Hay gets out. Hands for Maloney, and just too many wheat bix for Brecky this morning with that pass.
Yeah, just a bit too much on it. Dwyer trying very hard to keep a hold on it. She does a mountain load of work for this Giants attack.
Kamwenda at the top of the circle. Oh, just slips through the hands of McDonald. She claps them. She's upset she's missed that one.
A mountain load of work for this Giants attack.
That one to hide away from the emotions of the game. Watson coming out, following her, and she's going to want to keep Kamwenda out front.
Watching Kamwenda play since she's come on, she's moving so freely. Like, I'm not sure if it's the style of play that Tilly McDonald's playing against her, but the way she's moving around the court, she's moving with great freedom, just seems to be floating around, really dominating the circle very early on. We're only a couple of minutes really into this third quarter, but really nice to see from her.
Mannix holding a nice low body, keeping those knees bent, trying to keep the hands behind, but she's called. The pass goes to Dwyer. Easy goal for her. doing a lot of work before that centre pass. Kamwenda. Yeah, Kamwenda, she's just got the confidence that she knows she can move out of the circle to the top and then can just make her way back in. And does it just there. A bit of a flyer pulling in that pass. Still with that rebound. Second chance. Has got it in. It's the Giants. Centre pass now. Maddie Hay. Beautiful lead out to the side of the court. Over the top. Needs to be a bit more communication. She's led to the ball, and Kate Eddy really putting some pressure on her.
It would really be interesting to see, maybe Amy Slager in the wing attack for the Giants. She's a mid-court player. She plays centre as well. Would be interesting to see if that happens, what that would bring a difference to this game as well. I feel like Maddie Hay has had quite a tough number of opponents against her. So I wonder if maybe a change up there will help with the Giants attack. And beautiful play there from the Vixens, really well clapped. And Erin O'Brien read that perfectly. Great time jump to push that shot of goal out for a throw-in.
Now, even though the Vixens get that goal now, they just have to be on their toes because they know that O'Brien's going to be coming in for them and knows that she's reading their play.
Yeah, the difference now out. The difference now up to 8 goals between the two sides.
And Mannix was on the hunt there for an intercept. Didn't quite get it. Has kept Ange at bay. Oh, another contact that she's got to shake off just here. Looking for any type of rebound, but there isn't one. Fraketic with the goal. Back to the Vixens. Just under 10 minutes. 43-36. Still leading by 7, the Vixens. And McDonald not giving up just here, coming back to Kamwenda. Hands from either side. But she's really come in with confidence into this quarter, hasn't she?
She really has. I wonder if we're going to see some more attempts at intercepts, some flying, like deflections coming from the Vixens defence line now that we have, Eddie in wing defence, Mannix in goalkeeper and Liv Lewis in goal defence. I think this calls for more turnover and forced pressure. I think, more turnovers. I think the defensive lineups we've had was more forced pressure from unforced errors and forced errors, whereas this one will see us maybe more deflections and deflections with gain.
Oh, and deflections. It's so much fun to watch because there's so much unpredictability to the game. Kamwenda coming up out of the circle, providing her as an option. Austin moving forward as well. Someone needs to get back in that ring. Austin screaming out for it. And the urgency just pushed a little bit too high with that pass.
Yeah, Kamwenda really tried to go for the no-look pass, but unfortunately didn't pay off. And McDonald really going long to Slager there. But Giants looking really steady in this third quarter. They seem to be hitting their marks a little bit better. And yeah, wonder if Liv Lewis should have let that one go or just kind of shepherded it out. But
I feel like the advice given to defenders is go for it. Just go. Go for it. You've got to try it. You've got to keep them on their toes. There is going to be contacts in it. The ball is going to go out off your deflection, but go and keep them watching you. And there's Liz Watson being pulled up just there.
Really,
she moves effortlessly though, doesn't she?
She really does. I've really been impressed with Slager since she's come on in that wing defence role. I think that this is the best coaching move in terms of who to put on Liz Watson. So really enjoying what she's bringing to this game.
Yeah, and Liz just moved from centre to wing attack there and looking to come back for this centre pass. Price also keeping back on her. Kamwenda comes out with the bulk. Loves to keep them second guessing. Austin going for the shot. Big hands by O'Brien. Was always going to get caught on that one. And it rolls through the ring. They're just out in front by 6 now, the Vixens, 45-39. And I don't feel the urgency from the Giants. I feel like they're playing their own game at the moment.
Yeah, this is definitely more of that calm, poised conversation we're having about, particularly about Sophie Dwyer, but now it feels like it's extending to more of the players on the court.
And Resetting, going back to Eddie on the line. Liz trying to look over Sliger's hands just there. She's pushing them up wide. Pressure over every ball.
Vixen's really entertaining. Just trying to watch the way that they're moving the ball around the court. It is pass, catch, pass. So quick they're releasing, they're moving, they're giving, they're going. Really interesting to see how they're adapting to the changes on court, but also just, you know, the philosophy of the Vixens play. Oh, Liv Lewis, she looked at that and she wanted it so bad, but good work there from the Giants to keep a hold of the ball and still get the goal in the end.
And that's what I mean, that you just got to go for it, because next time it can't be so easy. They know that she's on the hunt.
Speaking about on the hunt, we just saw that again from McDonald.
And up and over, Kamwende goes for the shot. Nicely done.
And that is the super shot siren. So interesting to see Matisse Leatherbarrow held the bulk of it, and Liv Lewis with the steal.
The crowd is cheering so loud for her on that one that she's clarifying with the umpire.
Yeah, it was the possession call, not a contact call. So she did have to, and also the umpire held time, so she did have to wait for the whistle before she released the ball.
Into the pocket, but over the head of Maloney. It's her throw-in, though, tipped by Giant.
And that's a held ball against the Vixens.
Kamwenda reluctantly giving it back. Look at that wingspan on those arms over the ball. Such an impressive asset to the Vixens.
Yeah, but also, you know, part of their philosophy about hands over every ball as well. So it does start with your goal shooter all the way, you know, from those opposition goal line throw-ins.
Yeah, look at those hands, double hands right here, and forces that turnover.
And that's why they do it.
Simple yet effective. Maloney looking for an option, is going to go back onto the line, but it is congested. Eddie with the ball. It's going to be Watson, though. Price pinned on that one. And goes for the pass. Smart option. Kamwenda with the goal. Great to see. It's another Vixens centre pass here. Look at off the line. Slager and Watson with a little battle out. Watch them in that second phase.
Yeah, haven't seen many super shots in this period, and oh my goodness, Kate Maloney, how'd she get a hold of that? But just moving way too fast. Had two Giants players really closing in on her and just kind of fumbled the give at the end of that.
Well, McDonald with the ball with that pass in, and that was caused by her, but this one, she's punished for that. Kamwenda with the goal.
And that was just, you know, two players just passing back and forth, having the time of their life to set up in front of the goal.
It's not just keepings off, it is a Suncorp Super Netball pre-match game that is underway.
But yeah, the Vixens, they were losing their lead a little bit. Still, now it's back out to 8. 6 was the difference at halftime, and Liv Lewis, pressure over the shot. Mannix with the pickup.
Dwyer was expecting that little pass over, but picked up by the Vixens defenders.
We
Austin, little pass to Kamwenda.
And that was a goal started in the defence end. You can see Kate Eddy and Liv Lewis giving a little high five to each other, but that was a goal completely that came from defensive pressure. Erin O'Brien doing a mountain load of work there and able to roll it back into her own team.
And they've just got to set something up here. They're just looking a little slow and stuck. They are turning around, coming forward. Sophie Dwyer needs to head back into the circle.
I'm really excited by Liv Lewis in goal defence. We rarely ever see her there. She's definitely more of a goalkeeper. And there was Mannix in goal defence yesterday, but, you know, Liv Lewis does really well against a holding shooter, but I really like seeing her with a little bit of time and space to run. It's like seeing Courtney Bruce in goal defence as well. Just let her loose.
Be free.
Be free.
Dwyer staying back on that baseline. She's looking for a run, but Mannix is keeping her at bay. Price with the ball. Oh, and she's floated at the back.
Yeah, real Home Alone energy there from Sophie Dwyer.
Paid off. Just maybe a little bit too late with releasing that pass, but gets the contact. Slager trying to protect the circle there. Which way is she going to go? O'Brien sticking on her at the back.
Kamwenda wants the super shot here, but offloads it to Austin.
Big cheers from the crowd, and they're really speeding away with it. 52-43 at the moment, leading by 9 in this third quarter. 40 seconds remaining on the clock. Can there be a super shot here for the Giants? No, not this time.
Yeah, really trying to work the ball around now. Freketic moving into the super shot zone. And it will be a throw in the way of the Vixens.
Eddie looking for an option, going across the court to Mannix. It's more risky going across the court. Going down that channel, still looking for an option.
I think Kamwenda really wants to go for these super shots, and I love to see this from her. And you know what? Yes, she gets the hug from Kira Austin as well. And that is a fantastic way to finish off the third quarter. It is the Melbourne Vixens 54, the Giants 43. What an end. So Vixens really coming away in that quarter to try and really set themselves up with a really good 11-goal lead right before we go into the final break.
Absolutely, a lot of changes from both teams there, but they've just increased by 3 goals with their lead in the Vixens. An exciting final quarter. Let's see what the Giants' moves and how they're going to make them. We'll be back very soon after the break.
Are you ready for a career in sport? To make your mark on the industry? To study at the world's #1 school for sports science? Then what are you waiting for?
Meet Colin Jenkins, netball coach, orange cutter, artistic director, planner, chauffeur, Sherpa, and sideline hero.
Pass the ball over.
As proud partners of Netball Australia, we want to thank Colin for going above and beyond each week to support the netball community. HCF and Netball Australia, united by uncommon care.
When you're in a I deserve a little treat kind of mood, you need iced coffee, and you need it deluxe. Hazelnut, vanilla, or caramel. Make your day a cream on top kind of day with the McCafe Deluxe Iced Coffee.
Sixth car and truck rental is ready. Ready to go above and beyond. We call it Above and Beyonding. Means goodbye to the rocky roads of rentals, hello to an incredible fleet with incredible service. We rent small cars, big cars, electric cars, and cars as big as trucks. Because they are trucks. It's time to mispronounce our name and get out on the open road in style, in 6.
Not too far from where you are, Victoria's wide open spaces are calling. You'll hear the call on forest trails and in sea breezes, at farm gates and in cellar doors, inviting you to hike that peak and chase that view, to drink from the maker and dine at the source. Victoria awaits. Are you ready? Stay close, go further.
Couple of changes as well. Matisse Leatherbarrow on the bench, Ange Freketic in goal shooter, Sophie Dwyer in goal attack. Wing attack remains Maddie Hay, centre remains Jamie Lee Price. Amy Sliger, 2 early misses, but she'll get another shot at the cherry given that was an obstruction from Liv Lewis.
Back there, still in possession of the ball. The pop over by Hay. Freketic brings out Mannix and runs back into the space.
Really interesting by Julie for mid-court attacking-minded wing defence. So really 2 different options. And when you're playing against your Hannah Mundys and your Liz Watsons as the Vixens.
Vixens by the Giants' defence there. A little deflection from Amy Sliger as well. Big hands over. She's come out ready and raring to play. And passing it back to Price. Looking for a closer option, and it's the hands. Oh, shoulders down for a moment. Big smile on her face, though. She's quite a comedian, hey.
I've been loving the comedy we've seen from the goalkeepers in this game. Lauren Moore before having a smart pass from Kira Austin to Liz Watson.
And Watson moving around. pushes out McDonald to give space for Kamwenda with
A mountain load of work for this Giants attack.
Kamwenda at the top of the circle. Oh, just slips through the hands of McDonald. She claps them, keeping those knees bent, trying to keep the hands behind, but she's called. The pass goes to Dwyer. Easy goal for her. Way back in. And does it just there. A bit of a flyer pulling in that pass.
Attack for the Giants. She's a mid-court player. She plays centre as well. Would be interesting to see if that happens, what that would bring a difference to this game as well. Feel like...
Another contact that she's got to shake off just here. Looking for any type of rebound, but there isn't one. Still leading by 7, the Vixens. And McDonald not giving up just here, coming back to Kamwenda. Hands from either side.
Now that we have, Eddie in wing defence, Maddox in goalkeeper, and Liv
Needs to get back in that ring. Austin. And welcome back to the Melbourne Vixens versus Giants. Bound for Bendigo pre-season game. Super exciting. It is our final quarter and a few changes out on the court.
Yes, and you see Hannah Mundy take the ball for the first centre pass, and we'll quickly run through those changes after the first pass is thrown. So, for the Vixens, shooting to the right of your screen, Mwai Kamwenda stays in goal shooter, as does Kira Austin in goal attack. Wing attack is Liz Watson. Centre is Hannah Mundy. Wing defence remains Kate Eddy. And there's been a defensive swap, so Em Mannix has moved out to goal defence and Liv Lewis in goalkeeper. Now, for the Giants, it's the same lineup we saw at the end of that last quarter, but I'll run through it with you anyway. Just a beautiful take there by Kamwenda. So it is Ange Vrketic in goal shooter, goal attack Sophie Dwyer, wing attack Maddie Hay, centre Jamie Lee Price, wing defence Amy Sliger, goal defence Erin O'Brien, and goalkeeper Tilly McDonald.
Yeah, super exciting this final quarter. Now, Vixens at that 3-quarter break were 11 out in front. They extended it just by 3 there. So bit by bit they've been creeping up. They've had a couple of great super shots, and Kamwenda has been a key element to that. Looks like she's about to take another goal for herself and the team just here. That's absolutely right, getting it done. So really, it's up to the Giants now to see where they step up. What do you think they need to do?
I think this quarter we're going to see a lot of the defenders step up for both teams. Already seen a little bit of back and forth happening before that really first and second goals was scored. Ooh, and Em Maddox really clambered into Vrketic there, but I think both teams' defenders are really going to try and step up, force intercept, force pressure, force deflection, gain, whatever.
Absolutely. Hannah Mundy coming in with lots of energy as well. Now, there is a contact call there. Liz Watson with the ball, bringing it back a little bit. Sligo ready and raring to go as well, coming up to the circle with her. Austin with the lean.
Ooh, and a bit of the crowd loved that. Tilly McDonald throwing Erin O'Brien in the air. Not quite a Harrison hoist, but definitely something exciting to see from the Giants defence there, and I hope we see a little bit more of that in this final quarter.
We found out yesterday it was Dirty Dancing, the movie with Patrick Swayze, how he lifts her up in the air. and McDonald having a lot of fun with that, smiling afterwards as well. So Lewis with the ball to Mannix. It's going to go back to her. And, Maddie Hay is going to be called for that. But bringing that extra energy. And she's been playing the whole game in wing attack as well. Long bomb, Kamwenda with the aerial grab. Just getting prepared in the circle. Kamwenda making that look so easy just there.
And just the Vixens really ticking by now, getting some more of those goals on the board. McDonald and Kamwenda just on that goal line. The ball is nowhere near them, but there's a tussle happening. Not sure if it's just visible on your screen there, but there's a lot of work happening before the ball even enters the attacking third for the Vixens.
A nice chest pass. Sliger with the ball, looking for an option. Hay providing. Coming across to O'Brien. Keeping nice and close on her, Lewis. Vrketic trying to block her out of the ring just there. Doesn't want to let her create space.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Price, she's played every minute of these games this weekend. You can see why. She's very, very important both in attack and defence for the Giants.
We were saying just in the break that we need to find out her fitness regime and copy that stat.
I don't think I can. I think there's a reason why I'm behind the mic and not on the court. But yeah, very, very impressed with her athleticism. She's always been known for how strong as a player she is.
And the moves were there. Eddie just with that tip over. Coming back to Hay. And just setting up in that circle just there. Stretching out Dwyer. Nice, easy goal. So just over 10 minutes in our final quarter, 57-46. Still 11 at bay. Reaching out to 12 there. Hay with the ball. Big arms by both of our players.
Again, that's the defensive pressure you come to expect from Liv Lewis.
She's going to re-offer, but Friketic really keeping her on her toes just there. Going to be pulled up for being a little bit too close. Eddie trying to bounce off Hay. Trying to look for an option just out in front there. She's done a lot of work to get that ball. Austin O'Brien defending well. The big call, but McDonald standing back on her and on her toes, bouncing.
Yeah, Tilly McDonald just doing so much work, really pushing whoever she's up against high and wide and away from the ball, but also just being a pest, which I think is one of the best traits we can have in a defender. Of course, probably the best known pest in the league, Joe Weston, is currently not playing for the Vixens, but it is the greatest honour as a defender to be a pest because it really helps break down what the goal is able to do, affects their mindset in going for those leads because they have no option. So yeah, a Giants timeout now. I think smart play by them. They really came alive in that second quarter after the timeout. So an opportunity now for them to have a quick reset and then go from there.
Absolutely. A couple of replays on our screen. We've got the grab there by O'Brien. Then bringing it down to the Giants end. The tip by Lewis. Picked that up really well. And she's really proved this weekend that she's been really good at reading that play and making her choices when to drive and go for that ball. And Maddie Hay as well doing a tremendous amount of work in this game with Jamie Lee Price. Kamwenda, it's Austin with the ball in this replay though, but Kamwenda with that flying grab. I hope we replay that a little later on.
Yeah, Maddie Hayes attempted a flying intercept, but again, the Tilly McDonald, Erin O'Brien, Harrison Hoist-esque, very exciting play by the two of them.
And we're just about to come out of this timeout. Hannah Mundy is in the centre circle with the ball. She's going far into the pocket. It's being brought into the circle. The penalty against McDonald. Kamwenda, beautiful hands in the split with the legs, bringing her closer. She's had a great shooting percentage.
Yeah, very accurate game from her since she's come on.
Mannix out at the moment. They're going to want to see if they can use this, but not short and sharp enough.
Kamwenda did the bulk of the shooting for the Vixens last season. I think she was third or fourth in the league for goals scored as well. So usually the previous seasons we saw, quite an even shooting load, especially when Caitlin Thwaites and Tegan Phillip were the other goalers in the Vixens ring. But now Kamwenda taking a bulk load of the shooting for the Vixens. Austin doing a lot to keep her footwork right there.
Kamwenda's stats in 2022 for her goals, 91% accuracy.
Very, very good goal shooter she is.
And proving it once again. I think I even called that one before it went through the ring. I knew it was going to happen. We all did.
Just look at again, Tilly McDonald just called there for the obstruction, arms across her player, but just interesting to see the way that the two players there are really kind of battling across that goal line. That's where Kamwenda does her best work. But yeah, very interesting to see how the two of them have been playing, and I wonder if Tilly McDonald needs to adjust, keep her arms down a bit because she is starting to get whistled out. And some changes on the back of screen. So Sophie Dwyer is in goal shooter and Friketic is in goal attack now. So they've just changed who is in what position between the two of them. And I'm excited to see what happens because I really like what Friketic does in goal attack. So, you know, Sophie Dwyer has done so much work through multiple thirds of the court in goal attack, but I wonder now if she's just going to be the player that is entrusted just to shoot all the goals, especially as we approach that super shot period. There's like a 16 goal difference between the two sides at the moment. So the Giants 100% will be turning on just like Kira Austin did then.
They really forced that turnover just there, squeezing their attacking players into the corner of the court. And Kamwenda racking up her stats just here. Bound for Bendigo. Everyone's super excited to see her here.
Jamie Lee Price putting her name forward for an A-League women contract with that little back heel.
Oh, and the grab was Watson. Price did what she could.
I honestly sometimes roll my eyes when Liz Watson does Liz Watson things. It's hard to explain. She's just so good.
And she's just also composed. She's always on to the next thing. She's thinking ahead.
And it's considering what she does is quite remarkable. She's never flashy about it otherwise in her style of play, which is really interesting to me. Change back of screen. So Lauren Moore has moved into wing defence. Amy Sliger has come off the court.
Dwyer going for the goal. Big leap by Mannix. And it was enough to put her off. Getting her footing just there. Lewis, a free Mundy in the midcourt. Big hands by O'Brien, gets the tip. It's going to be a throw-in by Watson. Oh, and the tip by Price, yelling out, yes, girls. Kamwenda's got it, though. Over and across the other side of the circle. Big run to the front of it.
Yeah, Vixens really moving the ball around here. Giants really trying to get a hand to it, but again, it's that quick decision-making play that they do really well in the attacking third. And O'Brien and Austin also seem to be having a little bit of tussling towards that at the centre pass as well. Of course, Kira Austin played for the Giants for quite a few years, made the move to the Vixens at the start of last year. Yeah, Vixens have been clinical. They've now brought their lead to 20 goals.
Yeah, I feel like they haven't been under that pressure and that panic in that goal circle. And the example was the play a couple of goals before, forcing a held ball just there.
Very, very different style to what we saw against the Lightning yesterday. So the Lightning did come out the only team to have won both games. So very interesting from them compared to what we're going to see from this Vixens lineup in this game against the Giants.
As the ball runs off the court, bring it back in. Watson doing the pre-work behind the line. Kamwenda comes out. Austin with the hand in the air, but I reckon O'Brien's all over that move. But yeah, they've tended to pass it a lot more around the circle, but it hasn't been out of panic. They've been in control of that ball movement. Within super shot range, we are in super shot time now. 4 minutes left on the clock. And she nails it.
And the crowd is going to erupt here. And looks like the Giants have called a timeout. And why wouldn't they? 70-47 is the scoreline. They've scored only 4 goals this quarter. The Vixens have scored 16.
Whew. I also think they're just got to get around in front of the ball. They're being cornered out, and that's been this whole game at that centre pass. They've passed probably like a third of their centre passes backwards. And that can work. That can be some great play, but it's really not because it's been their decision. It's because they've been put under pressure by the Vixens.
Yeah, and I wonder if, haven't seen the full benefits of the change pushing Friketic into goal attack. So I wonder, again, training games, Team Girls Cup later this month, and of course, next month, the start of the league. So really a great opportunity to test their options ahead of the league starting.
Absolutely, and they've had most of their mid-court have been on the entire game, and we know they're crazy fit. We've just been talking about that. But with a new lineup, and the Vixens are also fit and strong as well, can that match up and can they sort of persevere? I reckon the goal in the next, 4 minutes is try to, outbeat the Vixens with their shots. Will that be possible? Kamwenda is a force to be reckoned with right now, so we'll have to wait and see.
Just having a look at my notes on the screen, when the Giants called a timeout at that 9-minute 18 mark, the score was 59-46. 13 was the difference. Now the score is 70-47. So in 6 minutes, they've only scored 1 goal. And Shani Lambden has made her way onto the court in the wing defence position for the Vixens. Great to see her getting some game time as well.
And the tip by McDonald just there. She's had a fantastic weekend.
She really has. She's such an exciting player, and it's great to see her getting valuable match time. And Hannah Mundy.
I love the commitment that Hannah just had just then with 2 hands going for the ball.
I think the biggest difference we've seen in Hannah Mundy, that first season when she came on as a replacement player for Liz Watson when she was injured, to what we've been seeing in the start of last season, now in this season, she looks so much stronger and more confident in her abilities. And I think that's come with time. It's come with working in an environment that the Vixens have, with Liz Watson and Kate Maloney. But she is looking more and more confident the more games she plays.
Absolutely, I would have to agree with you on that one. And it's really good to see. It's nice to see, some of our stars that are up and coming shining. And lots of talk out there on the court, moving around. Kamwenda, strong presence in front, moving it back close to the post. There's another goal for the Vixens. It's their centre. A drive by Mundy, grab in the air, pulls it in. Fierce with movements. She's going to look for options as they go around the circle.
And I think the takeaways from this game is we saw what Rani Samuelson did in that first half, the combination with Kira Austin. We didn't have that yesterday. So there's a lot of positives take away from this game. The connections work. Everything seems to be moving a little more clinical, a bit smoother. It looks like it's all going towards the Vixens game plan, which is not something I would have said after yesterday's game. Whereas the Giants, they went down by 1 to the Thunderbirds. Really, that super shot by Tipper Dwan in the dying seconds, that was the difference. But today, they just haven't been able to connect to flow, and they haven't been able to pick off in defence like we've seen them be able to do previously. So really different outcomes from different days. But lots of notes for the coaches to take, lots of notes for you fans at home as well. Make sure you're joining the conversation, bound for Bendigo, as we enter the final couple of minutes, less than 2 minutes to go for this wonderful tournament. And, yeah, love that from Kira Austin. Almost like a look-away shot.
That pass did look like a shot. It definitely wasn't. She had purpose with that one. Oh, and the ball just flying. And I feel like that's also probably one of the takeaways for the Giants is working on that mid-court and the options. Vixens have just been putting so much pressure on. And the word I've got even for Maddie Hay is she's been made into a sandwich. It's been a little bit squishy in there.
Yeah, definitely some of those ham and cheese sandwiches we've been eating here at the stadium. But, lots to take out from both teams ahead of, when the games do start. And they are missing 3 of their starters ahead of this Giants team. So, Tilly McDonald throwing that pass with venom.
Fakedic looking for an option. She's going to want to go into the circle. Goal attack on the move. Dwyer comes out into the pocket to Price.
Vixens look like they're playing a split ring. Look at the way that Mannix has the side closer to us and Liv Lewis has the side closer to the bench. Really interesting to see. That is the dynamic they're going for in defence as well. Because they're really kind of just guarding their own particular space rather than guarding a player. And great to see Fakedic get a super shot on the board. As a final couple of seconds, one of the last centre passes of this game, I would argue. Mundy able to keep a hold of it, finds Kamwenda, and that is a good goal for the Vixens, and that's how they would want to finish this weekend. So, overall, it is the Melbourne Vixens 74, the Giants netball 51, and what a strong second half performance. What a great game by the Vixens.
Huge, a 23-point win goes to the Vixens. The Giants will take lots of lessons from this weekend and especially the second half of the game. But you know what? Sometimes your losses are more valuable than your wins.
Exactly. And, this is a pre-season tournament. There's no points on the line. The players were giving it their all. We can definitely assure you of that. But great to see this tournament go ahead. And also a big thank you to our sponsors. These matches and events taking place this weekend are only made possible with the support of the Victorian Government, McCafe and the City of Greater Bendigo.
It's been so awesome to be able to highlight high-performance netball in regional areas. It's been such a nice day here at Bendigo, and this stadium, Red Energy Arena, has been an awesome one to be able to showcase all of our brilliant players. Some fantastic combinations. Great to see some training partners getting out onto the court. We're all about development in netball. A big cheer for our Vixens as they're coming off the court just now. It's been a big weekend for them. They've been very much loved. Georgia, it's been fantastic to be able to call this Bound for Bendigo tournament with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining myself and Chelsea Ryan. It has been an absolute pleasure.